following segment is sponsored by Daniel A. White and Associates.
It does not necessarily reflect the views of WDEL or Forever Media.
Well, it should.
The Rick Jensen Show on 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, WDEL, and streaming to your smart speaker and mobile device.
Oh, I've been a happy camper client of Dan White's for many, many, many years, and so have thousands of Delawareans, folks in Pennsylvania, and you could be too. Give him a call at 888-690-8820 and say, Dan, I hear you specialize in retirement income. And he'll say, yes, I do. And he's not going to charge you to sit down and you talk about your situation. Hi, Dan. Thanks for being on with your Wednesday tip.
Oh, no problem, Rick. Hope you're having a great day.
I am, as long as the Phils are having a great day, like you know.
Yeah, they're playing good ball again all of a sudden. So.
Well, everybody gets a little bit of a slump, and the Phillies had less of a slump this year than they normally do, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, let's slump in August and not October.
Well, yeah, there's that. Well, you usually do end our conversation with Go Phils, so I thought I would start off with that as well. You know, you've talked quite a bit about government regulations, IRS regulations, how they change, and how they can affect people's retirements in meaningful ways. One of the big ones was how they changed your required minimum distributions from your IRAs, inherited IRAs, and all that. And are people still confused about all this?
They are, and I'll start with the simple stuff, Rick. So first, it's if it's your IRA. So we know the old age used to be 70 and a half. The Secure Act changed it to 72, and then the Secure Act 2.0 changed it to 73. So bottom line, if you're 73 this year and you have an IRA, you got to take money out. The question that often comes up is some people get confused and say, well, my birthday's not till October the 15th, so I got to wait till October the 15th to take my RMD. That's not the case. You can take if you take your RMD out January 2nd, that's going to count towards your RMD for 2024. So I just want to debunk that myth that you have to wait until you actually turn 73. That's not the case. If you turn 73 this year, you can take the RMD out at any point during the year.
I got a question. So I remember seeing this, and you and I talked about this years ago, where as depending upon when you were born, now you have to take out money at 70 and a half or 71. Or
right.
Does that still play into this now?
No, because now the age is, forget 70 and a half, it's now 73. But the other thing that comes into play with that, like I said, you have to take it out this year. And let's say somebody says, well, I'll wait towards the end of the year. I'll wait till December 1st to take out my RMD. If they pass, if they die before they take out the RMD, the beneficiaries are responsible for getting that year of death RMD out of the account.
Oops.
And if you don't get it out, you're going to be in a penalty situation. So you want to make sure you get, whether it's your IRA, you got to get it out regardless. You can take it monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually. But if the person dies in the year of the RMD, and it doesn't matter if they're 73 or older, if they're 75 or 80 and they got to take an RMD and they didn't take it out yet. Yeah. We just had a client die and left it to her two sons. And I said, you have until the end of the year, but you still got to take mom's RMD out, So,
let me ask
so they have to get that out.
Let me ask you a question about that. So let's say you're turning 73, and you got to take the money out. Doesn't it make sense then to call the administrator of your plan? It could be TIAA CREF. It could be Schwab. It could be, whoever you have this with. Can't you call them at the beginning of the year and say, okay, listen, or even the year before, I suppose, and say, we got to take that out. I want to schedule it for, say, November 28th. And then They do it automatically. So if you drop off the plan in October, but you've already made that plan for November 28th, then it's automatic. As a matter of fact, you can do that automatically every single year with your administrator.
Yeah, but you know what? You'd have to notify the plan administrator of the death.
Yeah.
Right? And then that would probably cancel the automatic RMD.
Oh.
Yeah. So, if it didn't happen and, otherwise now you got money going into mom or dad's bank account.
Oh.
And they're deceased, know? So either way, you want to be cognizant of this, and you want to notify people when somebody dies. But so that's rule number one: is when you die, if you haven't taken out the RMD, you still have to take out the year of death RMD. Then it's the beneficiary's responsibility. Now, that being said, if you could take the whole thing out, but then you're going to be taxed on the whole thing. So, unlike the old stretch IRA where you could take it, set up an inherited IRA, and stretch it over life expectancy, that's now been replaced by the 10-year rule. So what that means is if the person that died, if they were of RMD age, then you are required to take RMDs in years 2 through 9, and then the entire IRA account balance would have to be emptied in year 10. But if the person that you're inheriting the IRA from was not of RMD age, under 73, then you're not required to take anything out, even though that's probably not the best move. You're not required to take anything out the whole 10 years, but it's got to be empty by the end of the 10th year following the year of death. So even if it's a larger IRA, you still want to set up the 10-year rule, but even if you're not required to take RMDs, it generally makes sense if it's a large IRA to take out 10% a year so you don't get hit with a big tax bill at the tail end.
Why would Congress do that? Gosh, they must have us in mind, the people, because they want to serve the people, right, Dan? And why they would change that from a stretch you could take out a little bit for the rest of your life and no big deal, as opposed to saying, oh, no, you have to dump it right now and pay your taxes on it, and we got to do it real quick in 10 years. Golly gosh, gee, Dan, that serves us, not the government, right?
Well, the bizarre thing is, Rick, they're kind of sending very mixed signals because, they're telling you if you inherited IRA, instead of being able to stretch it over 30, 40, 50 years, you got to be empty in 10. Yeah. But at the same time, they're telling us, hey, we wanted you to take money out at 70 and a half, but now we'll make it 72, and then we'll make it 73. And if you're born in 1960 or later, it's going to be 75. So on the one hand, they're telling us if you have an IRA, we'll let you hold on to it longer. Mm-hmm. But if you inherited an IRA, we want it empty quicker.
Well, maybe that was the negotiation. It's like, you might have some big government members of the Senate and the House saying, well, we want to take their money now because, the government needs it more than the people do. And then others who might be more inclined to serve the people would be saying, no, we should let the people keep their money for as long as possible. Maybe that was a negotiation. Say, okay, tell you what, we'll allow them to keep their own IRAs for longer, but we're going to screw them on this side over. Oh, I know they never say it that way. But we're going to enhance government funding this way. Yeah.
And it's, I'm sure there's a lot of kids. I mean, when I'm talking kids, I'm talking 50, 60-year-olds that were probably counting on, hey, when mom or dad dies, I'm going to get a big IRA, and that's going to be part of my retirement. But now they force it out in 10 years, and it's probably put a crimp into a lot of people's plans. So.
Well, it can still be part of your retirement. I mean, you have to take it out, but you can just roll that into some sort of, self-directed retirement account. I mean, it's not going to go into more qualified money.
No. If you have to take it out, you can't put it back into an IRA.
No. But I'm saying not necessarily a qualified account like an IRA.
Yeah, but you can put it in a taxable account.
Yeah, that's sort of. Or
if you don't need the entire amount of the distribution, obviously, and even if you get it, I mean, it's kind of found money. It's not anything you were counting on. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to spend it. You could reposition it in a taxable account and start building up equity there.
I'm surprised you keep saying taxable accounts. You've done it twice when I know that you're an expert on Roth IRAs.
Yes, and but you can't convert an RMD to a Roth.
But you put it in your bank account, pay taxes on it, and then if you have, if you're able to do
earned income, if you have earned income, you can make a contribution. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. Oh, they make it so complicated.
They really do. They really do.
Well, is there anything else?
They hope you screw up the rules, because usually when you screw up the rules, you end up owing the government some money.
Yeah, you think? I know. Who are they really working for? I think I know the answer, and sadly, it's really not us. Any other pitfalls to avoid?
Just that, again, the big one is the year of death RMD, because, we have a lot of clients that say, hey, I don't want to get my RMD till, December 1st because I want to get all the growth on it all year. And, you run into situations. All right, so the guy dies, November 15th. you're busy with the funeral, you're busy with this, you're busy with that, and you only have 45 days to get the RMD out. So it's something that people really need to be cognizant of, and so that's one pitfall. And then again, when you have the inherited IRA, you got to be aware of whether you're required to take the minimum distributions, whether you're not. You got to keep track of all this stuff. So.
All right, Dan White and Associates, always working with you to enhance your retirement income. You also present On the Money Sunday mornings, 101.7 FM, 11:50 a.m., and streaming live at WDEL.com. What are you talking about this Sunday morning at 7?
This Sunday, I think it's kind of an interesting show. We're going to talk about the worst retirement planning mistakes that people make.
Like not?
Like not planning for retirement?
Exactly. Number one, not. Yeah. That's true, man. And yeah, it's a frightening thing because I think we all know people who are in that situation.
Yeah, unfortunately. If you look at the numbers, most people approaching retirement have less than $100,000 saved. So I can't say they've been planning all that well. So.
Wow, that's kind of frightening. Well, Dan,
that is.
Always appreciate your tip after the 1:30 news on Wednesdays, my friend.
All right, Rick. Hope you have a great day.
Go Phils.
Go Phils.
There you go. It's hey, Dan's the one who likes to end it that way, and so I'm just going right along because it works for me.